You call yourself a man? You know you're a lying, low-life, motherfucking gambling degenerate prick. You know that's what you are?
Well, hello you degenerate fucks, and welcome to The Degenerate Gambler. It's Thursday the 18th of April, and just back with another episode. So, last week, I'll quickly run through the bets, and I'll give you some stats, and obviously 2 bets for this week. Last week was a decent week. Obviously there was the Entry Festival and the National on Saturday. I got a load of small bets up, nothing major, no big amounts, but it all totaled up to, decent. I had the Rory Super Boost in the Masters. I had Lucky 15s where I won 30 quid one day, got my money back another day. I had money on that Mystical Power that won Delta Work in the National. I had the ESAC Super Boost. That was all sort of end of the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then Saturday night I had the UFC bet that won 57 quid. I only stuck £2 on it because UFC is really hard to predict, and I don't think I've ever had a bet up in the UFC because there's always shocks. So yeah, it was just nice to get that up. Wasn't a big amount, it was only 57 quid, but just it adds to the total. And then Sunday I had that reduced winner because the Roma game was abandoned. That was 42.50, so decent. All together it's a couple of £100 there in winnings. I did have a big outlay because of the National and stuff. And because I did the Lucky 15s, but basically that paid for itself because I got basically 45 quid back from 3 of them. And it cost me 45 quid, so that sort of just cancelled itself out. So yeah, decent week. Month's going okay. A couple of weeks still to obviously improve that. So yeah. So I'll move on to the stats, and it wasn't a good week last week, so that makes me feel a bit better about not getting many of my main bet and my goals bet up. So there was 82 games altogether, so 10 in the Premier League and 12 in every other league. And then I'll get into it. So Premier League, 3 favourites, 3 draws, 4 outsiders. That's massive for the Premier League. I'm sure somebody saw that there was bets floating about the internet there of people who had a treble. Some people had a quad of all the outsiders that were playing on Sunday. So they had Palace, Villa, Fulham, and Ross County against Rangers. But for me, look, that's not really a bet I would do. It comes off once in a blue moon. To me, it's just throwing money away. Fair play to anybody that does it, but maybe it's a free bet or something, maybe. But the only way I would kind of do that, I'm not against putting against against outsiders. Maybe you'd have had a tenner on Palace to beat Liverpool, 10-1. Still good money for just a single. But I would never really do those big mod accumulators with outsiders. But anyway, so then we move on to Championship. 5 favourites, 3 draws, 4 outsiders. League 1, 3 favourites, 3 draws, 6 outsiders. League 2, 5 favourites, 1 draw, 6 outsiders. National League, 3 favourites, 3 draws, 6 outsiders. National League North, 8 favourites, 1 draw, 3 outsiders. National League South, 8 favourites, 1 draw, 3 outsiders. So in total, that is 35 favourites, 15 draws, and 32 outsiders, which is 42%. But when you look at that, there's really 2 leagues that are propping that up, which is the National League North and South with 8. All those other leagues are below 50%. So the Premier League only had 3 out of 10, Championship 5 out of 12, League 1 3 out of 12, League 2 5 out of 12, National League 3 out of 12. Do you know what I mean? That is wild. That's really, really bad. It's really only those bottom 2 leagues that are propping up that figure of 42%. So tough to get a bet up, and I think that is going to be a thing towards the end of the season that there's teams fighting for relegation. As we know, they'll play harder. There's teams that are probably favourites, but they're on the beach because they're mid-table, or they're secured their promotion, or they're secured their playoff spot, and they're sort of taking it easy to the end of the season. So I think, I was talking about this with a friend, I think from now to the end of the season, there's going to be pot luck getting the bet up. I do. I don't think form, even though I'll be looking at form, is going to be the factor. So anyway, let's move on to overs on both to score. So Premier League, 5 over, 5 not, 4 both to score, 6 not. Championship, 4 over, 8 not, 5 both to score, 7 not. League 1, 7 over, 5 not, and the same again, 7 both to score, 5 not. League 2, 11 games were over, only 1 wasn't. 7 games were both to score, 5 weren't. National League, 3 games were over, 9 weren't, and again 3 games were both to score, 9 weren't. In the National League North, 9 games were over, 2.5, 3 weren't, 7 games were both to score, and 5 weren't. National League South, 8 games were over 2.5 and 4 games weren't, and 6 and 6 for 6 both to score and 6 not. So for the overs, it was 47 out of 82, and that was 57%, and both to score 39 out of 82, which was only 47%. So again, the overs, yes, was decent in most leagues except for National League. We only had 3. Most leagues had a pretty much 50% or over. So that's not too bad. But like I say, I do think it's going to be potluck. It will. There's a lot of factors at the end of the season that form isn't going to be the main one. But anyway, so for my bets this week, I've done actually 2 £10 bets, which is 4 points to me, 2 points each. Mainly because it was I have obviously that I never lifted any of the money out of my account, so I had it there, so I was like, fuck it, just throw it in there, and do 2 £10 bets. So that's what I've done. So I'll run through the main bet. Well, they're both main bets because they're both £10. I'll run through the win bet, and then I'll come back for the reasons. So first team, Norwich at home to Bristol City, 4-6. Next, Peterborough away to Bristol Rovers. So I'm hoping there's a bad day in Bristol. So it's both Bristol teams. So Peterborough away to Bristol Rovers, 13-20. Lincoln away to Cheltenham, 6-5. Doncaster at home to Barrow, 11-10. And Mansfield at home to Gillingham, even money. In total, that's 24-1 with a 12% bonus. So for a tenner, it pays 283. So look, if there's cash out option in there, later on that may be what I take. But we'll just see how it goes. I just thought if form and stuff's not going to be a hang, I'll just take a punt on teams that I fancy. So looking at the reasons, so Norwich obviously they're sitting in that last playoff spot. Bristol Rovers are 12th, but they're actually in good form. But I just think Norwich need to keep getting points, keep winning. They're going to beat my outright bet because Middlesbrough aren't going to finish in the playoffs. So both teams are in good form. Bristol City actually have 11 points in the last 5 games, 1 more than Norwich. But away from home is my thinking here, because at home, so Norwich have won 5 in a row at home, and Bristol City have only 1 win in 5, 3 defeats and a draw. So even though they're in good form, they're not doing well away from home. So next we go to Peterborough, who are playing Bristol Rovers away. Peterborough currently 4th in the playoffs, Bristol Rovers 14th. Recent form, so again at home, Bristol Rovers 1 win, which was their last game in the last 5, 3 defeats and a draw in the other 4. Peterborough had won 4 in a row. They lost last week against Oxford, actually 5-0. So it was a heavy defeat, but good form other than that. Next we go Lincoln. Lincoln are away to Cheltenham. Lincoln currently just outside the playoffs, so still fighting for that playoff spot, just 2 points behind Oxford. Whereas Cheltenham, who are fighting for relegation, they're 2 points in the relegation zone. So this could be, it is a tough game, because Cheltenham are fighting for their lives, but they're in poor form. They've only 1 win and 4 defeats in the last 5, and at home haven't won in 5. Whereas Lincoln away, 4 wins and a draw away from home. Now we go to Doncaster. Doncaster, not in the playoffs, but again fighting for the playoffs. Barrow are in the playoffs, so Doncaster are 9th, Barrow are 6th. Crawley are 7th. They're on 66 points. Doncaster 64. So Doncaster's only 2 points out of the playoffs. They're 4 points away from Barrow. But if they beat them at home, they could be in 1 point out and maybe even in the playoffs. And they've won their last 5 games in a row. They're in great form. Whereas Barrow have only 1 win, 1 draw, and 3 defeats. Doncaster again at home, 5 wins in a row. Barrow away, no wins, 2 draws, and 3 defeats. So, I mean, you know, on paper that looks like an easy fucking Doncaster win form-wise, but obviously it won't be like that because they're both good sides, both playoff, you know, contention teams. So it won't be easy, that game. Next, lastly, Mansfield, who I think are already promoted. They are. They're playing Gillingham, who are 10th. And they've only won 3 of their last 5. Gillingham will win 2 of their last 5. At home, though, 3 wins, a draw and a defeat. And Gillingham, 1 win, 4 defeats away from home. So, again, that should be not an easy win, but that should be a winnable game for Mansfield. So, like I said, I just went for it. If you want to leave any one of those teams out, you'll probably still get over 10-1, maybe even more. So, you know, if there's any you want to leave out, you certainly could, and still get a reasonable return from a 2-point stake. So then I'll move on to my goals bet, and it's 3 both to score and 1 overs. So I have Stoke Plymouth both to score at 8-11, Portsmouth Wigan both to score at 10-11, Harrogate MK Dons both to score at 8-13, and Sutton v Crawley over 2.5 at 7-10. It only pays 8-1, so 10 on it gets me back 90. Not massive, but it's what I fancy, and you know, it's what I went with. So yeah, that's the bets. Next midweek, there's not a huge amount on. I think there's like 6 games in England on Tuesday. There's a Premier League game, Arsenal-Chelsea, which would be a good game. Leicester-Southampton in the Championship. There's a couple of games in League One, a couple of games in League Two. You know, don't know if there's enough there for an accumulator, maybe a bet builder double or so. That's Tuesday. Wednesday, there's actually 4 Premier League games, 1 in the Championship. So there's the Merseyside Derby, Newcastle Palace, Wolves, Bournemouth United, Sheffield United. There's a few games in France, Coppa Italia, Eredivisie. Yeah, that's Wednesday, and then I don't know if there's anything on Thursday. Let's see. Yeah, so Thursday, Brighton plays City. A couple of games in the Eredivisie. That's about it. Sweden. Yeah. So look, it's not the biggest midweek. Again, these are all mostly games of teams who have games in hand. Because the FA Cup this week, and the FA Cup soon. Because the Premier League doesn't have that. Is there FA Cup this Saturday? I think is it this weekend or is it the midweek? They're not here. Let me see. Premier League, Championship, League One, National League, South. No, there's definitely a reason because there's only what is there? 3 Premier League games on Saturday, and then 4 on Sunday. So there's 3 games missing. Oh, that is Sunday's FA Cup. United play Coventry. FA Cup. I've got a bit of time here. Let's see fixtures. So Chelsea City's on Saturday, 5:15, and United Coventry is Sunday at 3:30. So yeah, so that's why. Right, that's basically it. Say end of the season coming up. Just a couple more winners. It'd be nice to bump up my season total because it's not great, but it is what it is. So all that leaves me to say is, if you are doing a bet, good luck and happy punting.
Here, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, thanks. Let me find out you fucked up. I'll leave you wherever I find you.